Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, and Real Live with your host, myself, Damon the Agent. Today is Friday, May 31st, 2024. And I thank you all for joining me as always each and every Friday at 12 noon. And as always, I like to start my show with the latest world of real estate. But before I do, please make sure that you'll follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. You don't stop. So if you'll see me turn this way, that means I'm talking to my audience in TikTok. Well, in the wonderful world of real estate, I want to talk about this afternoon, curb appeal slash property conditions, and let you all know the vital impact it has on how much your home sells for or doesn't sell for. Many people tend to, with all the information that's provided today, many people are used to looking at HGTV. They're used to going to various websites such as Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, excuse me, and gathering information. Sometimes you may have people who will go to these websites and say, oh, Zillow or Redfin says that my house is worth X amount of dollars. And what people don't take into consideration is that is the average sale for that zip code when they're actually telling you about your house is worth a certain amount of dollars. People need to take into consideration that when a house is being sold, there are various things that are taken into consideration, such as the square footage of the home, the number of bedrooms and bathroom of the home, the condition of the home, the location of the home, and many people, believe it or not, the curb appeal. When people pull up to a home, and even before they pull up into a home, they're checking out the neighborhood, they're checking out the neighbor's house, they're looking all around before they even go into the home. Sometimes the way that a house shows on the outside would deter someone from actually going on the inside. I pulled up to many properties with some clients who did not want to go into the house because the way the curb appeal looked. And I also pulled up to many homes with clients who looked at the curb appeal and were like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? They were blown away because it was such, it was such beautiful curb appeal in which it made them want to yearn to go inside to see more. Now, curb appeal is just taking care of the outside of your home, gardening, fertilizing, keeping it clean, keeping it neat, keeping it presentable. In some particular area, the greener the grass, the better the curb appeal looks. There's some people who like the gardens. There's some people who actually don't. They hire professional lawn care people to take care of their yards. But all of this is vital when you're actually trying to get the most money for the sale of your home. Your curb appeal plays a huge role as well. On top of that, your property condition. Now, people may be attracted to your home on the outside. They may come because of the price. They may come because of the location. They may come because of the schooling in that particular area. But what goes on the inside will determine whether or not they want to buy or not. It's just like when you meet someone and you see them on the outside, and they can be very attractive to you on the outside. But then once you speak to them and get to know them, they don't seem as attractive anymore because of what comes out of their mouth, because of who they are, because of who you see they are. They look good on the outside, but they're not good on the inside. And this also goes for houses. There are plenty of houses that sit on the market for a long time. I talked about this a few weeks ago about stale listings. And some of these houses that sit on the market, they look good on the outside. And I explained then that sometimes the reason that they haven't sold is either price or condition. And the condition of the inside plays a huge role, especially on a home that you see and buyers are attracted to it. Now, there are some homeowners who just automatically assume that, oh, my neighbor house sold for X amount of dollars, my house should sell for more. But they don't put in the work that their neighbor did. They didn't do the things that their neighbor did. They don't keep their house clean or presentable. Their house is junky, not clean at all, doesn't show well. And they expect to get top dollar. In some cases, some people are somewhat, and I'm just going to say it, somewhat delusional because you cannot expect to get the maximum amount of dollar when your house doesn't show as one of the best. It is not appealing to the people who come and see it. So when a seller is selling a home, they really need to take into consideration decluttering their property, keeping things tidy and neat as possible. I do understand that sometimes some people buy a lot of things off of Amazon. They got a lot of stuff going on in their house, but the neater you keep your home, the more appealing it looks to buyers. People don't understand that when buyers walk into these homes and they see all of this mess or junk, it is actually a distraction. It takes away from the buyer actually seeing the true value of the home. Buyers are no longer paying attention to the spacing that's in the closet or in the bedroom or even in the kitchen. All they see is the junk and clutter that's in front of them. The property condition matters. That is the reason why so many homes today are actually staged. The reason why these homes are staged is for numerous reasons. A few of the reasons is, one is to show you how good a home can look when it is decorated nicely. Another is to show you that furniture can fit in certain spaces, depending on how small the space is, and even in large spaces to show you how you can decorate them, and also to show you how beautiful a home can look when you walk into an home and it just feels cozy and nice. Similar to like the picture that's behind me. You know, that house behind me is not really staged, but in some instances, it could be staged. And I just say that to say that the condition of the home and the curb appeal helps to maximize a seller's dollar when they are selling it. When your house is cluttered, when your house doesn't show well, when your house is in poor condition, it actually takes away the amount off the list price for some buyers. Some buyers may still have vision and they can probably see past the clutter and junk, but they would say, well, this house is listed for 500. I want to offer 490. And sometimes that's just their reasoning. And again, the seller may say, well, my house is listed for 500,000. I expect to get 500,000 or more. But your house is only worth what the buyer is willing to pay. So those are also things to take into consideration. Having your house to show well plays a huge role in getting the maximum amount of dollars. That is the reason why properties are staged. That is the reason why houses look good when they are staged. When your house doesn't show well, even though you may be getting buyers through there and you're wondering why people are not buying, it's for one or two reasons. Either the house is overpriced for the condition it is in, or it just doesn't show well at all. So having your house to actually show well maximizes your dollar. Having the curb appeal out there helps to maximize your dollar as well. You will find that these small investments will hold big dividends in the end if you just take the time and effort to just tweak those little things to get the most money. So when you're selling your home, people, please understand curb appeal and how the property shows. Property condition matters when you're trying to get the most money for the dollar as possible. So I wanted to just talk about that briefly because there are a lot of homes sitting on the market and some of these homes do not show well at all. You go into them, you're actually surprised how they show. And then there are plenty of houses that are also on the market that show wonderful, beautiful. They stays, they look lovely. But hey, I'm just giving you some information to help maximize your dollars, because if you're not getting the contract that you want, if you're not getting any buyers on the property, you got to look at the condition, you got to look at the price. So just wanted to share that. I'll be right back with my Q&A and my financial literacy part. All right. I'm back with my Q&A and also my financial literacy part. For those don't know, last week I started a financial literacy part on here just to help people gain knowledge and everything. I'm not on here long, so I don't keep everything long, but I do talk about things that can help possibly someone to gain knowledge when it pertains to financial literacy, because we all need to have more knowledge when it pertains to financial literacy. Last week, I briefly talked about a life insurance policy, the IUL, which is an Index Universal Life Policy. And today I'm going to briefly talk about an annuity. Now, for those you don't know, annuity is basically when a person gets a fixed sum of money paid to someone each year for the rest of their life. Now, for some people who depend on Social Security, for some people who have their 401k, for some people who have their their TSPs and 403Bs, and some people who are getting, alimony. These are other ways that people are getting incomes outside of them working. But for some people who are actually working, don't have, excuse me, don't have anything set up for their retirement or for the rest of their life, you really should consider an annuity. An annuity is when you have to actually invest into, it's like an insurance investment, but it's giving you an annual payment to help you supplement your income for the rest of your life. Now, you can speak with any insurance broker about this, or like I mentioned last week about the IUL, you can reach out to me. I can always direct you and help you with certain things when it pertains to this. But annuity is a great form to supplement your income. If you're working, if you're thinking like, okay, I'm getting X amount for my dollars, that's not going to be enough. I strongly advise you to invest into an annuity. You will be surprised the small investment you make today to invest in something like an annuity will pay great dividends later on. For those who travel a lot, for those who eat out a lot, for those who party a lot, for those who shop a lot, if you stop one of those and put it into an annuity, the money you put in one of those, you put into annuity, it will give you a great investment later on. It's nothing wrong with enjoying life, having fun, traveling, eating out, shopping, doing all of these things. But a lot of times those things are liabilities. Those are not assets. And because those are not assets, later on, if you go on a nice cruise this year, you have good party this year, then next year come and you don't do it, or 2 years later, you're gonna be thinking about the cruise that you went on and the shopping, which is true. But it's not giving you any money 2 or 3 years down the line. An annuity will. Trust and believe when I say annuities help. You know what I'm saying? It is an annuity is a financial contract between an annuity purchaser and an insurance company. And what it does is it gives you payment, pays you. It pays you. You invest, you pay. You got to, in this life that we live in, we have to have some type of guarantee investment in order to set us up for later in life. Otherwise, there are many people parents who go live with their kids because they can't afford to live on their own, or they have to be put in nursing homes. And sometimes nursing homes is not because of the mental or physical, it's because financially they can't live on their own. Many of us don't want to be doing that later on in life. We want to have the freedom to do what we want, when we want, how we want, and we want to have the money to also do so. So I would strongly advise that everyone who does not have an annuity to look into an annuity. If you have more questions about that, like I said, I have no problems helping you, guiding you to the proper people to give you all of the valuable information. But I'm explaining you annuity, when you make an investment into it, it will pay you annually for the rest of your life. And it is something that is vital to each and every one of us to have. Because here's the thing, we cannot have any shortage of multiple streams of income. You may say, oh, I'm good for life. Oh, I got enough money saved in my 401k. I have enough money saved up. And that may be true, but wouldn't you want to have more? Because wouldn't you want to help your family if they need that? If you get an annuity, trust and believe the annuity is going to set you up later on. And like I said, I can provide more more intel information about the annuity if you reach out to me. But I don't want to spend a time forever on that. I just want to briefly give you the nugget to think about annuities, you all. So let me go into my Q&A real quick, which is my question and answer. Okay. My first question is, the first question of the day for my Q&A is, how will VA buyers be affected by the NAR settlement? How will VA buyers be affected by the NAR settlement? Great question. VA buyers are veterans administration by. These are borrowers who have affiliation with the military. And these are the ones who have a no money down payment with the loan that they're using, which is the VA loan. In many cases, the reason why this question is being asked is because the NAR settlement is saying, beginning like around August 1st, that anyone that's working with a buyer's agent, buyers are going to have to start paying the buyer's agent, unlike currently, which the seller pays the buyer agent. A VA guideline said that the VA buyers are not supposed to pay for anything outside of an appraisal and also a home inspection. They're not even supposed to pay for a termite inspection. So because of that, now they will have to pay the buyer's agent, but the VA guidelines said they're not supposed to. So how would this NAR settlement affect the VA buyer? They are currently working on it right now. I last heard today that actually they're going to put out something the first week of June, which will be next week, in reference to this. So let's stay tuned. We both going to stay tuned how it's going to affect the VA buyer. I don't have a direct answer on that because I'm not the one who's creating the laws or guideline, and they have not updated it yet. But I did hear they are in the midst of announcing something the first week of June, which will be next week. So I will come back to this question next week once I've heard more information on it, just in case you're still looking and wondering. All right. Let me see about any more question. Okay. All right. All right. That looks like the only question. So let me go to my topic of the day. I'll be right back. All right. Now, my topic of today is spiritual warfare. Now, I want to talk about this because I was holding a conversation with someone yesterday, and we were talking about our grown kids. Me and her, we were particularly talking about our sons. And she was sharing information about her son, and she was telling me about information about someone else's son. And I explained to her that many people who have grown adult kids are experiencing the same thing, especially in the Black community. Unfortunately, a lot of our kids are disrespectful, unappreciative. They feel entitled. And she was sharing with me about her son. She was telling me about how her son didn't want to do nothing, how her son was just basically being a bum. And she was like, well, what happened? How did we even come here? And I explained to her that we are physical in nature, but we're dealing with a spiritual warfare. You know, we battle with, with spiritual demons attacking all of us. And they know and can see that in a lot of males and in all grown kids that they have potential on their life. But what they're doing is they're distracting them, they're misleading them through social media, through their peers, through things they see on TV. And they don't want to listen to their parents. You know, parents have been through a lot of things, but they only see their parents as their parents. They don't know everything that their parents been through. So a lot of time kids feel like that was you, this is me, that was then, this is now. That's the mentality that a lot of these kids have. So they don't want to listen to their parents. They think they know everything. They don't want to help their parents. And I explained to the lady that I was speaking to that unfortunately in other cultures, I'm going to use Hispanic, for example. A lot of Hispanics, they're very respectful to their parents. They tend to help out their parents. But in our culture, our kids get money and they're going to splurge on whatever they want, and their parent could be struggling. But when we grew up, it wasn't like that. You know, you saw your parents struggling, you try to help them if you could, but they don't have the same mindset. See, this is a different generation that we're living in. And in this generation, you know, they have their different and own mindset. But at the same time, we've given our kids so much that we didn't give them the lesson, is what I also told them. We didn't give them the lesson. We gave them everything. So now they feel entitled. And she also explained to me, and she was telling me a story about and I don't even know who it was, and you all may know who it was, in which she said it was some rapper down south somewhere. She told me two stories. I'm sorry, I don't want to get them confused. She said it was one story where a boy killed his mother for the life insurance on his mother. His mother set him up, always took care of him, had a lot of money, and she put a life insurance in which he was the beneficiary, and he killed his mother for the life insurance, which was tragic, which is terrible, because the person who raised you took care of you. All you care about is money. You just cared to get rid of them for the money, and they took care of you. But unfortunately, I explained to her, like, even I saw Steve Harvey said he wasn't leaving his kids anything. He was just, you know what I'm saying, while he alive, he'll help them. But when he passed, he's not giving them anything. Not saying if that's true or not. But the only thing I'm saying is, though, is in my years of doing real estate, I've seen plenty of people who have passed away and they had children left. And there's always 3 or more kids. And it seemed like throughout the majority of them, all they wanted was money. You may have one of those kids who are really mourning their parent passing away, who really caring about them. Everyone else trying to sell a house, trying to see how much money they can get for the house, trying to sell it to an investor, trying to put it on the market, but none of them really, when I spoke with them, were mourning their parent. They cared more about the money. And the same thing in the sense with so many grown people. See, all the things that we do for our kids sometimes go unknown and unappreciated. Parents make sacrifices. The good parents, let me just say that the good parents make sacrifices for their kids their entire life. Some parents even give up their lives to take on and make sure that their kids are good. But unfortunately, you got a lot of these kids today who don't appreciate or value their parents. And a lot of what they're going through and what they're doing has to do with spiritual warfare. See, we must pray for ourselves and we must pray for our kids, because when they go out into this world, we don't know who they're exposed to, what they're doing, if they're doing drugs, if they're not doing drugs, if the people around them are doing drugs. And then even in the drugs, they're lacing it with so many bad things. Unfortunately, one of my kids' mother passed away some years ago from getting some edibles. And the edibles that she got was laced with fentanyl, and I can't even remember the other thing that was in it. But the point that I'm making is people out here buying things, they don't know what's in it because they're trying to get a natural temporary high to feel good. And on top of trying to get this temporary high to feel good, they are damaging and killing themselves inside their spirit. And while we are out here as parents praying for our kids, we don't know the battle that our kids are going through. This spiritual warfare, it's attacking everyone. It's attacking mother, father, children. And a lot of times when the enemy can't get to you, they're going to attack the next thing closest to you, which is going to be your kids. Most parents love their kids to death. You love your kids to death. So when the enemy can't get to you, they are attacking your children. And when they're attacking your children, that's why your children are talking to you the way they are. They're being disrespectful. They're not loving you. They're not appreciative to you. Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays come around, and some of your kids don't give you nothing. They don't even, they may send you a text message and say, Happy Mother's Day, happy birthday, something to that effect. But they don't appreciate or value you. And you look at these kids and say, Dad, I done gave you everything your entire life, and they're over the age of 18. But now that they're over the age of 18, as parents, we still try to help them. We try to shelter them. We know the dangers of the world. We know the harm that can happen in the world. And because we know and we can see things that our kids can't see, they feel like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I'm going to be okay, Mom. I'm going to be okay, Dad. I got this. But unfortunately, we see on the news too many times, people don't got it. And people sometimes want to feel like, oh, yeah, because one of the things I hear like lately through songs, yeah, I came out the mud. I made it from the mud. And that might be true for few, but majority don't make it from the mud. And that's what kids don't understand and realize. See, they may say, oh, yeah, they want to do their own and they want to grind because they want to be recognized for overcoming these types of obstacles. But sometimes the parents are trying to prevent the obstacle. But parents, the one thing I can say to you is these kids going to do what they want to do, regardless of what you say or whatever. The only thing you can do is pray for these kids. I don't care if they 1 or 91. Pray for your kids, because when they go outside the door, we have no influence of where they go, what they do, who they doing. We got kids out here that are killing people. And I'm pretty sure the killers' parents never thought that their kids were going to be killers. We got people out here who are pedophiles, molesters, rapists. We got people out here who are just evil people. And I'm pretty sure parents never thought that would be their kid to be evil or a killer or a rapist or a pedophile. So the only thing that you can do is pray for your kids, because just like we have an allocated amount of time, on this earth, so do our kids. And we're borrowed here ourselves, and so are our kids. So when our kids are choosing to do the things that they want to do without listening to the parents, understand that ain't you, because you didn't raise them that way. That's a spirit in them. So you have to pray to get that spirit off of them, because we're all dealing with spiritual warfare. None of us out here are perfect. Nobody, no pastor that you may see, no deacon, no person in the street, no Muslim, no human being on this earth is perfect. But the problem is we're so judgmental of others, realizing you ain't perfect yourself. I don't care who you are. But the reason why people are judgmental of others, because they're trying to deflect off of them a lot of times and want the things to be focused on the negativities of others. See, you have to give grace to everyone, including your kids. Because when your kids are being disrespectful and stuff, you know you can knock them upside their head, right? But if you knock them upside their head, what's that going to do? Cause friction between y'all. You have to pray for your kids, just like you pray for yourself, because we're all dealing with spiritual warfare. And I just want to say that because it's attacking every family. You're not the only one who have grown disrespectful, entitled, spoiled, rotten kids. And some of these kids ain't even doing nothing for yourself. You're wondering, like, Dad, if I disappear today off this earth, how are they going to survive? It's a lot of kids in this situation. That's why these kids ain't leaving home like they used to. You guys, back in the day, kids were leaving when they 17, 18. Now you got some kids still 28 and they still home. You know why? Because they have no skills to live on their own. They can't make it on their own. And as parents, we are willing to help our kids. But the sad thing is, though, are your kids willing to help themselves? And many of them not. But part of the reason they're not is because they are being attacked by spiritual warfare against them. So we as parents must pray for them and help them, because what we don't understand is everything we seeing in our kids are not what we taught them. That's telling you right then. I can't remember what movie it was. It was a movie in which it was a spirit that went into a person, and that person was like evil and talking a certain type of way and stuff. And it wasn't that person, but it was an evil spirit in them. And the same thing goes for your disrespectful kids, for your unappreciative kids. All of us going through it. So I just say that to say that understand that we don't deal with physical. We're dealing with the flesh, y'all. So I'm no pastor or preacher, and I don't remember the Bible terminology where we wrestle with, I can't remember when we wrestle with powers of something. And I just say all that to say, y'all, pray for your kids like you pray for yourself, because we all are dealing with a spiritual warfare. And I just wanted to say that spiritual warfare is real and it's attacking everybody. And when you see people speaking to you, especially your kids, and you wondering why they even talking to you, when they're not appreciating you, when they're not showing you as their parent value, when it seems like they're going crazy, they doing all types of wild stuff, they with the wrong people, understand that's not you. That's a spirit. Pray for them. So I just wanted to share that about spiritual warfare, because it's affecting all of us, y'all. It's affecting all of us. So let me do a quick recap. All right, y'all. I just want to come back and do my closing out. Please, before you all leave, follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. You don't stop. Talked about curb appeal and property condition, y'all. For those who are selling, when people pull up to your home, they might pull away from your home. I just did that about 2 weeks ago with someone. And if the inside of your home looks good, and it is cozy and it gives that feeling of home, you might just get a contract. So I just want to say the property condition plays a huge factor, and some people need to really understand because some people don't. Some people properties are a mess, but they still expecting top dollars, and that's why their house is sitting on the market, along with the way it's being priced. And I talked about financial literacy, about annuities, y'all. For those who don't know about annuities, please look into it or reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you because annuities, y'all, is going to help you to live a life after you retire and stop working. But you have to invest today. And the same amount of money you spend on investing when you go out traveling, going to get something to eat, or even shopping, you sacrifice that one time to begin your annuity, and guess what? It's going to set you up for the rest of your life. And then I talked about spiritual warfare, y'all. Please understand that a lot of these grown kids that we are dealing with, the disrespectfulness, the non-appreciative, it's not them, y'all. It's a spirit attacking them because the spirit couldn't get to you. It's the spirit of evilness attacking them because the spirit of evilness couldn't get to you. Pray for your kids like you pray for yourself. And as long as you continue to pray, prayers get answered. So I just want to say that. Thank you all. I will see you all next Friday at 12 noon. Follow me on all social media, and I can be found at DamonTheAgent.com. I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great weekend, everyone.